the copies that you have, are those copies, or they're actually that were used during the production process and have script notes on them or anything?
Not all of them, but some of them, yes. And in one case, we have notes from the directors where they're like, listing all the things they like or don't like or want to change. And they even say, can you go back to the script written by the last team and do this? Because we really liked the way they did that. Can you do that?
Uh-huh.
So that was a big part of the problem, is that the directors were indecisive and very imaginative. They always had an idea a minute. But when you're doing a film like this, you have to make a choice. You can't change all the time because sets need to get built. So they were always, coming up with new ideas. And after a certain point, the producers, they realized that they had to put a stop to it. They couldn't afford it. They'd already spent about $15 million on, the fantasy production, on the prestigious Drain Man script. They wanted to kind of deduct that from the sci-fi production. They didn't want to add more cost on top of it.
Right.
So it got to a point where just weeks before production was to be started, they hired a script doctor without telling the directors, without telling the cast that was already signed. They already signed to the script and they were going to be coming to the shoot in a few weeks. So the producers didn't tell anyone. They hired a script doctor to rewrite it, to, bring down the budget. And another aspect was that Disney had also come in and they bought the distribution rights, but they wanted to be able to market a family-friendly version of it. So the script doctor was also told to cut out a lot of the more political aspects of the narrative, as well as the more sexually suggestive stuff, because there is a lot of
it wasn't always going to be a
graphics.
film.
Excuse me?
It wasn't always going to be a PG film. There was a potential
No.
rated Mario Brothers.
It was more geared towards like PG-13, because the directors and the producers as well, they felt that they wanted to market towards a teenage young adult demographic, like with Batman '89, Batman Returns, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a darker aesthetic, but still funny, satirical, a sense of humor, that kind of thing. And they felt that the Super Mario franchise had been going on long enough that it made sense to target them. They're older. They've already played the games and watched the cartoons. They're ready for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle experience.
Right.
And, this also ties into the fact that Luigi is the protagonist and Luigi gets the girl in a way. A lot of people question, why isn't Mario the lead? Why isn't Mario doing the adventuring, the damsel rescuing, while Luigi's just the sidekick? And that's because the directors figured that when the games first came out, older siblings would be playing Mario, the first player, and that most of the time the younger sibling would be second player, Luigi. And they felt that the Mario games had been out long enough that the older players, the older siblings who had played Mario, might have grown out of the series, but that the younger players who had played as Luigi and now identify with that character would be old enough to still be interested in the series, and that they should be the ones that are catered to with the story. So from a development process, from the perspective of adapting these characters, they knew what they were doing in a way. But it's not that they necessarily knew what their audience wanted. People are confused because they didn't get what they wanted, but the directors still had a vision. They weren't just throwing paint at the wall and seeing what stuck.